that's not really us, right? What does that mean for women like us that own a business that's basically like our baby? Okay. Women with families, women with bills to pay, women that are working day in and day out in the business, right? What does that mean for us? And so this is why I hated that question, because one, well, hello there, everyone. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Female Empowered with myself, your host, Krista Gurka. So thanks so much for joining me. Today is actually going to be a really kind of short and sweet episode. It's just something that I actually was thinking about the other day, and I was like, you know what? I am going to do a podcast about it. So here we are. We're going to talk about that question that some people bring up. What's your exit strategy? And I'll be honest, people used to ask me this all the time. And I really, really, really hated this question for a few reasons. One, it made me feel like I really wasn't a business owner and I was just a fraud because I had no idea what my exit strategy was. I had no idea that you were supposed to have an exit strategy. So I thought that people, when they asked that question, they were like, oh yeah, this is my exit strategy. And I thought the only exit strategy that existed was to sell it to Facebook or Google or YouTube or or Equinox or something crazy like that. And I just felt stupid. It made me feel stupid for a number of reasons, but what actually is an exit strategy? So if you look at the definition that's been put out by Investopedia, which is just like an online website, an exit strategy, listen to this definition, okay? An exit strategy is a contingency plan that is executed by an investor, trader, venture capitalist, or business owner to liquidate a position in a financial asset or dispose of tangible business assets once predetermined criteria for either has been met or exceeded. Now, I consider myself a pretty savvy business owner now these days in September or October of 2022, but that freaking sentence makes absolutely no sense to me. Does it make any sense to you? One, I'm not an investor. Well, I guess I am the only investor, a trader. I'm not a venture capitalist. I am the business owner. To liquidate a position in a financial asset or dispose of tangible business assets. Like, what the hell does that even mean to the majority of small business owners out there? Like, seriously, like WTF, right? So now, if you continue to read on, this is another reason why this question used to make me feel so stupid. So if you look on entrepreneur.com or Entrepreneur Magazine, which is a pretty well-established magazine for entrepreneurs, there is according to them, I think there's somewhere between like 4 and 7 exit strategies, but 5 smart exit strategies. So one of them is M&A. Do you know what M&A is? M&A stands for mergers and acquisitions. So if you're old like me, you remember Working Girl back in the day. She was in mergers and acquisitions, or the role that she was pretending to be was in mergers and acquisitions. So if you've seen Working Girl and you know what I'm talking about, go give me a shout out on Instagram. Okay. Now, mergers and acquisitions. This basically means merging with a similar company or being bought by a larger company. Also, if you watched Pretty Woman, this is what Richard Gere did. He was in mergers and acquisitions. He bought up a bunch of companies and then ripped them apart, right? Okay, so an initial public offering, also known as an IPO. Sell to a friendly individual as opposed to a non-friendly individual. Make it your cash cow. Now, wouldn't that be great? But how do you do that? And then liquidation and close. Okay, so let me explain to you what all of those actually mean. And the more I started investigating this and the more I really started just learning about business, when people talk about exit strategies, they talk about it in terms of an entrepreneur of a startup. So entrepreneur of Amazon, like Jeff Bezos, who actually hasn't sold, but or an entrepreneur of the people that started Instagram that eventually sold it to Facebook, right? Or so like basically entrepreneurs of startups eventually want to sell because like they are entrepreneurs. They like the startup phase, right? And so usually in 3 to 5 years, they're interested in starting a new entity. They're in growth. They like growth mode. They like that fast and furious, go, 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 scale, 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 right? They like new ideas. They like spin-offs, right? And so this is what they are looking for, like Uber, Lyft, all of these companies, startups that are looking for an exit. And usually the exit is like a big cash payout, right? Someone's going to come in and buy them. Okay. That's not really us, right? What does that mean for women like us that own a business that's basically like our baby? Okay. Women with families, women with bills to pay, women that are working day in and day out in the business. Right? What does that mean for us? And so this is why I hated that question, because one, I don't even know what I'm going to do like 3 minutes from now, let alone 3 years from now. And I certainly didn't know it back then when people started asking me about my exit strategy. And I just made up some bullshit thing like, oh, I'm not really sure what my exit strategy is yet. And the truth is, I had no idea. I didn't even know you could have an exit strategy. I was like, listen, all I'm trying to do is keep my head above water here in this business. And I'm not even like thinking of getting out. But the more I started kind of getting comfortable with business, and the more that I started kind of, how would I say, understanding the market, understanding what an exit strategy is, then I started feeling a little bit more comfortable with kind of formulating an answer. And I can still tell you that I don't know 100% what my exit strategy, but I do understand what my options are. And that makes me a little more comfortable. So what I'd love for you to do is go back and listen to the episode that I did with Mitch McGinley, fitness, the boutique fitness. I can't remember what it is. Let me see what it is. It's basically how to set your business up for sale, and the boutique fitness broker with Mitch McGinley. It is episode 137. Okay. So it's episode 137. So go back and listen to that one. Mitch is great. It was a great, great, great episode. And meeting Mitch really helped me understand what the different exit strategies are for our industry. Okay. So now at least I know what my options are. Okay. And so here are some of the options we have for an exit strategy in our industry. We could sell, like I could sell my business to an outside investor. I could sell it to, someone who's interested in getting into this industry or acquiring a new studio. So for example, what I did when I wanted to expand and I wanted to open my second location, I basically went to a business and I basically did an asset sale with them. So they were ready to kind of get out. And so what I did was said, hey, I don't necessarily want to buy your business. I just want to buy your assets. I want to buy your equipment. I want to buy your lease. And that's what I did, which really helped me expand and lessen the startup, the ramp up time to new studios. So I think it's a great idea if people are also looking to expand. Doing an asset sale on a previously owned business is a great way to do it. But I could also do that for someone. I could also just sell my business. A lot of businesses and studios in our industry sell to either clients. Actually, if you listen to that episode with Mitch, he was a client at a yoga studio and he bought that's how he bought his first studio. He bought it from the owner when they were clients. So you could sell it to client, you could sell it to someone on your team that's ready to like jump up in the world, okay, and become an owner. Now, generally what you can do as a sale, again, I would just recommend going back and listening to that episode, but you basically take, just to make it really easy, a long story short, you take what you make as an owner, and this is like really, really general terms. You take your profits that are left over in the business for a year. So say that you sell $500,000 in revenue a year, or even $300,000 in revenue, you're left with $50,000. you pay yourself $50,000, so you have $100,000 in assets at the end of the year, and you usually do somewhere in the realm of like multiply it by 2 or 3. So maybe you could sell your business for like $200,000 or $300,000. Maybe, again, super, super general. A lot more goes into that. But again, go back and listen to episode 137. The other thing is you could liquidate. When they talk about liquidation, that's what they talk about, or you could have an asset sale. Basically, that means, so just to liquidate basically means you're just going to sell off all of your assets. You're going to sell off your equipment. You're going to sell off, I don't know, you could sell off your computers. You could sell off the desk chairs. You could sell off the desk. You could sell everything. Okay, that's liquidation. And at least you could walk away with some money. The other thing you could do is an asset sale, which is basically like somebody might come in and just want to buy out your lease and basically turn it into a yoga studio or something like that. So those are ways that or you could just close your doors. I don't recommend just doing that. Like I recommend actually at least liquidating a little bit, but that's an exit strategy. You could bequeath it to someone in your family. You could merge with another studio and partner up. There's lots of ways, but I still don't love that question. So if you're like, hey, people say, what's your exit? I never ask anyone, what's your exit strategy? Unless I was just with someone recently who has a startup. And I was like, hey, what's your exit strategy? And it's like a tech startup, eventually most of those people do want to sell. But he was like, I'm like 10 years away from my exit strategy right now. So I don't know right now, like if you ask me what my exit strategy was, I don't know what it would be. Maybe I would want to, I do say that I want to retire in the next, 5 to 7 years. That doesn't mean I have to sell my business, but I probably want to retire before I'm 60. So I would love to retire by 55. So that's been something that I've been planning. And so I don't really ask people what's their exit strategy. I like to ask people like, what's your 1-year goal, your 3-year plan, and your 10-year vision. All right. When I first started doing this, my 10-year vision, I was like, there's no way, I have no idea where I'm going to be again a year from now, let alone 10. So I started thinking in like 5. I was like 1, 3, 5, and that was comfortable enough for me. Okay. So anyways, this is a short, sweet episode. I'd love for you to shoot me a DM over on Instagram and let me know what you thought of this episode. What do you think when people ask you what your exit strategy is? Have you thought about what your exit strategy is? Do you have any idea how to plan for your exit? Anything like that. I would love to hear your comments. And that's all I got for you. If you are listening to this on Apple Podcasts, I was about to say iTunes, that's how old I am, Apple Podcasts, and you would literally just take 1 moment, seriously, pull out your phone, look at it. If you're walking, if you're driving, don't do this, but maybe do it when you stop, scroll to the bottom and leave a review. Punch however many stars you'd like. If it's 5, great. If it's 3, great. And then if you could maybe just punch a few words, love the content, and even if you don't like it, it does help. So this is me asking you for your help. If you like the content that I'm putting out, I would love, seriously, just scroll down. It'll take, by the time you finish listening to this, it's, it would have been done. So ideally, leave me a review. I would love it. Go message me, DM me over on Instagram. Let me know if you have any questions. And until next time, my friends, bye for now.